Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC Mura here, and in today's video we're gonna be talking about offense and rushdown. Over on my Discord I got a question from a player. He was saying that he knows block strings that Akuma can do, but he's not really sure at which time to apply which string. He's pretty much not sure what is the point of the different strings and what he should be targeting. And I thought it was actually a really good idea, because there is a good portion of players who just apply pressure strings without really knowing what they're looking for. When you are trying to pressure someone, like let's say we are Lucia, we are trying to pressure you, I am looking for a specific defensive response. One of the most common ones is him simply blocking. If the opponent is gonna hold down back, they are not gonna try to move backwards, they are not gonna try to mash anything, you're just holding down back. What do? Well, you throw them. And that is what we do commonly in what's called tech grabs, right? You do a light and then you throw the opponent. Where someone like Lucia might be standing light kick, crouching light punch. I also got Ryu, and I'm gonna be showing you the examples from the perspective of two different characters, and Ryu and Lucia are very standard. So for example, Ryu can do standing light punch and then throw Lucia, right? So these are very standard tech grabs, we all know about this. One of the really common defensive techniques that a lot of players do nowadays is simply walking back and then holding down back. The idea is they are trying to walk back out of your pressure and then hold down back to block the incoming low attacks. And this can actually be very powerful because it can get you out of some tech throw attempts. For example, here if Ryu does standing light punch, Lucia can walk out of that. And it is actually very beneficial for her, because in some instances she can actually punish him. So Lucia kinda shimmies Ryu on his own offensive pressure sequence. Now this is why when you are trying to pressure someone, you might want to implement some low checks. For example, you do the light kick and then immediately after that go for a crouching light kick, crouching light punch sequence. So if they are trying to walk back, you get to shake them low. Now, not every character has this, there is a decent number of characters who do. For example, you have a jab into crouching light kick, crouching light punch, we try to walk back, we get clipped, and yeah, this is a very common pressure sequence by Ryu. And obviously one of the most common defensive options is simply mashing your 3 frame, right? Something that players do all the time. Obviously if your character don't have a 3 frame, you can mash on your 4 framer. But it's important to actually understand why that is being done. Why are people mashing on their defense? The idea is that they have made a decision that you are going for a fake block string. For example, if we are talking about Lucia, a lot of Lucia players love doing stuff like that. Standing medium, walk up standing medium. Cammy does it as well. A lot of characters do block sequences like these. The thing is, they have a lot of big gaps in them. A quick or a reversal 3 frame can absolutely interrupt that, right? So if you think that the opponent is actually just committing to the 3 frame, what you can do is, well, frame trap them. For a character like Lucia, we said standing light kick is very good as a tech throw, and you can also 3 frame out of that into crouching light punch. So for example, on this sequence, let's here have Ryu mash his 3 frame, right? You get a frame trap like that into the counter hit combo. Now if we're talking about it from the Ryu perspective, well, he pretty much can do the same thing, right? I try to mash and I get hit. But what if the opponent isn't simply committing to their 3 frame? What if they are using delay tech, delay button, or simply actually trying to react to me walking forward? I said that a character like Lucia and obviously Cammy, many others, love to do block sequences like these. Notice I'm taking a micro step forward before each medium. So what if Ryu, instead of just using his jab, he's actually trying to react to that step forward, right? This is usually called delay button, or obviously if he's trying to react, maybe it's a reaction. Because a lot of players also love to, for example, do 2 mediums and then dash forward. So he's pretty much reacting to the forward movement and using that as his trigger to use his 3 frame. Well, what you want to do here is to simply bait that. You bait that by delaying your button. Let me show you what I mean. Here, for example, Ryu is going for his interpretation of the same concept. Notice he's using his jab and then walking forward and doing medium punch. If me as the Lucia, if I'm trying to react to the forward walk, right, this is me simply doing a reversal throw, but if I'm trying to react to it, I actually get counter hits, right? So if I throw him immediately, I throw him out of it, but if I'm trying to see the walk forward, I get counter hit. So this is also one of the more common offensive sequences. If you think that the opponent is trying to react to your pressure, well, you can turn the tables on them and fake them out. But obviously walking forward into button isn't just the only way to combat this. One of the other ways is to simply go for a frame trap with a larger gap in it. For example, notice here Ryu is mashing his 3 frame, but he's doing it in a delayed timing. So if I do a tight block string, he's pretty much gonna block, right? So instead of just simply going for the walk forward like that one, what you can do is simply go for a delayed frame trap. So for example, something like Lucia doing standing or crouching light punch into standing heavy kick. Obviously this is a kind of like a very hard read, because the standing heavy kick is minus, and it's not something that you would realistically do with Lucia, but this is why you see characters like Bison doing jab into standing heavy kick, right? They are trying to catch your delay. And obviously one of the other things that people like to do is simply block the first or 2 hits of your block strings and then trying to walk out of range, right? And that is where cancelable crouching medium kicks become very important. Let's say that we are Lucia, we're going for a block sequence like that. Yeah, that final crouching medium kick at the end can catch so many players off guard. And this is what a lot of characters can do. For example, with Ryu, you try to walk back now, bam, crouching medium kick, you get hit, and you eat a ton of damage. And this brings me back to the very beginning. Remember when we talked about the opponent simply holding down back and not biting, so you throw them? Well, what if they are expecting that and now they are gonna throw tech? Obviously there is multiple timing to trying to break the throw, but let's see that Ryu is trying to break it immediately, right? So I'm doing my jab and here Ryu is gonna break immediately. Obviously you have to remember that throws have startup, this animation, and you can get hit out of that. So if you go for a tight frame trap, well, you can actually punish this one. But there is a very common defensive option in Street Fighter V that most of the player base do, and that is called delay ticking. You input the throw input kinda later while holding down back, so that if the opponent go for a tight block string, you get to block, and if they go for a throw, you still get to break. Let me show you what I mean. Here for example, Ryu is gonna do a delay tick. So if I go for a frame trap, he's blocking, and if I go for a throw, he breaks, right? So how do we beat this option? Seems pretty good, right? Well, there are 2 main ways. The first one is to remember, he is delay ticking. So what you do is, well, you delay your frame trap, right? Notice got the counter hit, and bam, you still got to punish him. Or what you can do, and this is very popular as well, is to simply go for the shimmy, right? And obviously shimmies can kind of vary in strength because the characters and their ability to shimmy kind of varies. You do need good back walk speed to set this one up, and lots of players are now very aware of shimmies, so they don't take a lot mid-screen, but it is still obviously a very powerful offensive technique. There is a risk to it because they can check you low, but it is still pretty good all things considered. And obviously there are many other things that you can do, like cancelling into a move that will leave you at a plus on block advantage. So you then, like this one, left Lucia at +5, so I can kinda try to maintain my turn. Maybe you will go for spacing traps. I have done a video previously on the spacing traps. You will find a link to that in the card above. The point is, there is a ton that you can do, but you have to do it with purpose. Understand what the opponent is doing, what are their defensive habits, and then know where to attack them and which block strings will be effective at which time. Obviously a lot of this is guessing. Players of high level who are really good will rotate their defensive options, so you don't get a clear idea on which options they're gonna use at which time, and that is what makes a player good at playing defense in Street Fighter V. Simply understanding that you need to rotate your options. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment, helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon page, the Discord server page. There is also a Twitter page in the description below, and I have been starting to stream. So if you are interested, please check the Twitch page as well in the description. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.